very consistent. So that is the main question for today's first game between onic and evos. How is their game gonna be like? Will they be consistent?
Let's get into the draft here. Game 1 is Onyx's choice. Do they want to go blue? Do they want to go red? First pick or second pick? As the draft unfolds, it looks like Onyx wants to go red side. They want to get those 2 picks. Ripo, how do you feel about the meta game right now? What's stronger, first pick or second?
For me, it's second pick because like second pick can counter first pick. So I think second pick is really good right now.
Oh, and I think that's why Onyx chose that, right?
Yes.
Strong side. There goes the Fanny and the Joy. Coach Age taking that out, while Coach Yeb answers back by taking out the Lancelot and Claude. He's attacking Taz and Brands.
Yep. Hey, you know what? Full respect, but yeah, you asked about the Fanny, and the Fanny has been banned, but I gotta ask Wolf here because a lot of specialized picks, right? A lot of respect bans here being banned out. Quite a lot of the meta is open. What do you think should be prioritized?
Probably the Varya. We will go down to that route where the Varya will be the priority, but also like as boring as it sounds, Fredrin is going to be there, and the Arlot, the 3 heroes that I'm looking at here. I think that there will be a trade-off between the Arlot as well as the Fredrin, but between these 2 teams, I think you pick up the Varya first.
Maybe for me, it's Kaja.
Oh, right, Kaja is open.
Also Fallen.
Yeah, Valentina is also pretty good, especially now that the Eve has been banned out, the box doesn't exist. So in a way, if later in the pickup bands you want to pick up the Faramis, you kind of can, as long as you have a good composition for it. But again, a lot is open. The Kaja is open, the Novaria is open, and like Wolf said, if you want to go a bit boring, even the Fredrin.
Yep.
Which I kind of feel like, nah, you got to give it Taz a carry type of hero, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be... Alright, so definitely Novaria. And how do you answer with this if you're Onic? Just go for your typical place like a Kaja. I think something along the lines of Kaja and Valentina.
Yeah.
See value in me?
It looks like they're the ones who are the boring ones.
Boring.
But can be flexed. Again, Boots can play this.
That's right.
Ripo, when and how do you say Fredrin is going to the XP lane?
It's really good because the early pick we can flex. So like they already picked Fredrin, so they can flex the Fredrin. So makes the coach of the evos like a little bit like messy. Like, what? I don't know the Fredrin will go to jungle or EXP.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if that's what Coach Yeb and Adi want to do. They do pick up the Kadira to close up their first 2 picks. Abstract, what are you thinking of? What's the trade?
Honestly, right now, the main thing that I'm looking at is the fact that, yes, Fredrin has been picked up. The matter of fact is, Fredrin is a very tough frontliner. Yep. Does Evos really want to immediately pick up a carry for themselves just so that they don't deny Onic from taking it away?
Yep. I agree with the carry. I think it's a Brand's hero, although he hasn't really been successful with it, but it's traditionally a Brand's hero. And then you pick up something like a Farside, or a Valentina, but you already have the Novaria, so you want to keep that until the late portions.
Can we flex the Novaria though?
Yes, you can.
The roamer.
Yeah.
So maybe you go Yuzhong carry here, if you're Evos.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about Yuzhong.
I think Beatrix pretty fine as well.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Psychots.
Wow.
And there's a Beatrix. So yeah, they prefer the coverage.
Oh,
but wait,
immediate.
Is that Boots? Is that Boots?
Yes, he said Marsha EXP.
Confirmed. Okay.
Okay, so the main idea for Onic is they just want to have the Masher to just run right straight through everyone just for the Beatrix.
Yeah. Do you agree, Ripple? Like, you're an EXP laner. Playing the Masha against the Beatrix, how does that feel?
Yeah, really good. It's
really
good? Great counter for Beatrix.
One hit ult.
Yeah, one hit ult.
Yep, I definitely agree. I think this is such a Yeba. You see, this is just a Raja Yeba pick.
Yeah, I spent a few minutes with him talking, and he said that in the scrims prior to MSE, they were trying a lot of heroes, and now it's showing.
Yep, and I think you're just gonna let it all out. In the first game against EOS, they pick up the Masha. But now this is Onic just correcting, just trying to shut down Chaz and maybe force him to pick up the Assassin. Picking up this ban on the Akai might be followed up by perhaps a Martis, so that they'll definitely have this Fredrin, which we now confirm is going to be the jungler.
Right now, my only question is, now that you see the Yuzong as well as the Novaria, what kind of marksman is going to be good here going up against the Yuzong? Because I kind of feel like a lot that you still have in the pool right now might not be so good.
Ripo, when you're a Yuzhong, what's one of the harder marksman to kill?
Need some stitches? I can help.
Maybe Kari.
Ah, carry.
Carry's still open.
Yeah, still open. They can probably pick.
Yep.
How about Brody though? Brody being able to kind of stun and immediately get the distance away.
Yeah, but for me, Brody is a little bit hard meeting the Yuzong. Better Kari, because Kari can really dealing damage a lot.
Plus, I think carry can use the Purify. The Brody Purify is kind of like, yeah.
It's much slower.
Yeah.
Here we read into it, of course. Again,
Yeah.
onic will try to corner Taz into picking an assassin, which will again also make that Masha all the more valuable.
Exactly. So you ban on carry or Brody here for Evos. Of course, carry is I would say the more.
Yeah, I would say back
Magic is my
The
love.
higher
Harry.
Harriet, of course. Chadwick can
safe
play
ban.
that.
Okay, so now they try to close up here. Ripo, when you try to dive as a Yuzhong and then you see a Harith, is that hard too?
Yeah, it's hard, really hard. Because he's dashing, chrono dash, so really hard.
So far, all the marksman picks are pretty much denied away for our dear friends CW, right?
Yeah.
So he's played a lot of Claude, a lot of Melissa, a lot of Beatrix, and all of which are unavailable. In fact, 1-1
Yeah.
even. So if we kind of look into what he has played before, more of the comfort picks per se, it kind of seems as though the only few ones that's available is and makes sense is carry.
Yep.
Gila Sans.
As we wait for what Chewe will pick up, Sans here, the least deaths among all the players in MSC. 3 times, just 3 times?
Whoa, I
Wait,
think-
wait.
Hold on.
Okay, Valentina. So position 5, Kadita. I think there's a big chance that this will be like a Franco and maybe Franco as well as Ling as the last 2 picks for Evos.
I don't know, man. The Ling here is going to be quite risky because not a lot of good targets you want to kill instantly.
Nope.
I gotta say, even the the Hayabusa maybe not the best as well. A lot of ways to handle, especially with the Kadita being there. So I kind of feel like, yeah, having the assassin would be very interesting, but not a lot of options. Any options kind of feel like a bit boxy.
What's the real threat coming from Onyx?
Wow!
Well, I guess the Baxia is an interesting pick.
Okay. Back in M1, it was Evos who.
Still a good carry game though.
It's their counter to the Masha. It's the Baxia.
Yep.
Anti-sustain.
It works, and now they have a Diggy as well. It's Dreams are rocking that.
So you go carry.
How do you feel about the Baksha?
Really good, because can sustain all the damage in the front line. So yeah, very good. Also, the enemy don't have any burst, especially if they PMM carry.
I kind of feel like it's very good adding pressure as well because the Baxia can move around the map very, very fast. You can clear the jungle creeps. I would say relative towards a Fredrin as well. And as we expected, this is going to be the carry. And early game, I kind of feel like the Baxia will be able to handle the carry. So honestly, personally for me, guys, looking at both drafts, I'm looking at EVOS. If they can pick up the tempo, it's a pretty good game for EVOS.
I think so far Evos has got quite a lot of lane priority, right? Even when it comes down to the middle lane, even when it comes down to the gold lane, a little bit, a bit of a 50-50 despite going up against the carry. I'm expecting that onic will probably put a little bit more pressure down onto the bottom lane.
Right now,
Across the world, they also scream, go onic. So I'm wondering, where are all the EVOS fans? They're going to need all your support. I agree. So far, EVOS Legends draft, it's very frugal. They only really need to give farm to the Beatrix and to the Novaria, and then they can get into business. Ripo, real quick, one more time. Who do you think is going to take game 1?
From the draft, I think Evos. If he keep the tempo, I think they will win this game.
All right. Draft alone doesn't speak much, but let's get into game number 1 here. Gentlemen.
White Tigers going up against the Yellow Porcupine. We gotta see EVOS Legends. Can they pick up the tempo? Can they punish onic? Let's go into game number 1 in this best of 5 series.
All right, to talk about tempo, this is Baxia. This is probably one of the top ones or top 3 when it comes to controlling the tempo. You clear the lane so fast, you clear the jungle so fast, you might be able to overwhelm the Fredrin.
I thought that the real interesting thing is that EVOS Legends pretty much have lane priority for every single one of these lanes. So if they continue to really keep up with their rotations, onic may actually lose quite a lot of these pressure right smack in the early game.
Right now, Dreams as well. Honestly, looking at Dreams using this Diggy, I'm really interested to see what kind of roam item is going for. If it's going for the Encourage, I kind of feel like it's going to be very, very good for the team, especially if he's just making sure that he uses ult to make sure that Keyboy doesn't get a good engage.
Now, I talked about the fact that EVOS pretty much have got the priority, as well as the fact that they've got more or less early game. But I don't see a lot of reliable stun, reliable lockdown, aside from the fact that Dream S does have the reverse time.
Not gonna lie, man, I kind of feel like with this kind of draft, as long as Psychots as well as Taz can have a very good setup, like they could frontline, I kind of feel like everything else will be given to them for the damage coming in from Bronze as well as Hijime.
I think the last two picks coming out from EVOS were very good. The Diggy kind of solves a lot of their problems, especially like protecting the Beatrix from the Masha. You also have the Diggy to protect the Beatrix away from this Kaneda. So there's a lot of like engaged potential coming out from the side of Evo. So if they do play around that kind of playstyle, they can take this game.
I saw the encourage on the Diggy, so I kind of feel like in this game, honestly, if they don't want to engage, it's totally fine. They could just siege with the Beatrix alone. Now the turtle has been started by both Kyrie as well as Taz.
And Zaycon immediately grunts himself into the Black Dragon form. Taz as well. Zaycon is just waiting for the perfect time to jump eventually onto Kyrie. But unfortunately, Kyrie as well as Keyboy's HP doesn't seem to be working very well. Kyrie still managed to take the turtle away, plus a kill down onto Zaycon. Things are not looking good, as Butz immediately puts himself right in the face of Dream S. That makes Dream S go for a flicker.
I mean, that is kind of how you want to approach the fight, right? You want to make sure that the Yuzon goes in, and then Dreams making sure no crowd control can hit onto Taz. But what went wrong there?
Well, it was the go-ahead coming out from Butz. The go-ahead play that he did went in to burst down the Yuzhong, really popping the Dragon Form way too early for the benefit of the side of EVOS, and losing your main tool to initiate against your opponents meant that you don't have the necessary tools around the turtle fight. So it was a well-timed initiation coming out from Butz, and then Kyrie just took care of the turtle. And by the way, very nice retribution coming out from Kyrie.
Yeah, very nice retribution for now. onic with a 1,000 goal lead. Keyboy is TPing in front of Dreams as well as Brands. Taz is there, already using the retribution onto Keyboy, but able to escape for now. It looks like Brands is just going to poke a bit here on the goal lane. Quite a lot of emphasis in the goal lane here.
Doesn't really seem like a small little poke, if you ask me. CW's HP doesn't seem to be looking very well. He wanted to recall, but the thing is, if he does actually recall right now, that is one entire wave that is gone for him. But at least one thing that we know of the fact is, Brands is actually is a little bit under EXP, you know, as compared to CW.
For now, looking at how onic is moving around the map, it looks like they're kind of, in my personal opinion, they're reacting as well to what EVOS is trying to do, because we talked about this before the game starts, Wolf, where it looks like they try to put more onto Taz, but it looks like this game, they kind of want to go back to, in a way, their own basics, where they want to put a lot of emphasis on Brands' lane.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they didn't win the first turtle fight despite having this backsha means that they really now have to focus on Taz. So Brands, I mean, so that's the win condition. And it's going to be very difficult. Sans holding on to the Diggy ultimate, this is massive for onic.
Yeah, super massive now, especially even if Psychots comes in, there's going to be a way to challenge that. Now the Lord is half HP. Taz thinking about resetting it, and now Keyboy goes in.
The turtle is just gonna be immediately melted down. Kyrie still takes the turtle. It seemed as though Brands could have gotten it through the Bandit's Rage, but it didn't quite go so well.
Honestly, that was quite close, because looking at the situation just now, it was timed perfectly. I think the whole communication was between Keyboy and Kyrie to be like, okay, you ready? I'm gonna go in.
You see the timing was just so good again from onic, especially because they have the threat of the Time's Journey coming out from the Diggy that they copied through this Valentina. And of course, Kyrie had a level advantage over Taz, and this is the reason why you want to win the first turtle all the time. If it's a tank v tank kind of a jungling matchup, you want to secure the first turtle as soon as possible.
Oh, Sans is there, gonna get caught just a little bit. Looks like failed again coming in from onic, and Hijime wants to try to snipe someone out. Keyboy was found out, but he was able to recall fast. Taz in the back line, just gonna be there to see the positioning coming in from onic.
Quite a bit of resources is actually already used by onic, right? Sans was forced to go for a flicker as their gank didn't quite work so well. EVOS' babysitting service from Dream onto Brands is working pretty well, but onic, they have their own answers, and that is to get their equal value in the bottom lane by really putting Butz there.
Could have sworn that this was a massive play already coming out from EVOS, as they do take up the top lane with the aggression coming up from Taz, but it was quickly answered with just a one-man pushing machine. That's the Masha. Every time that Cyclops wants to get into this lane, Boots will just freely just hand over one of his life bars and just gun down Cyclops, poke him down so that he will have to go back and there will be no defense in lane. And Cyclops that's really being destroyed in this lane. Not his fault, it's the Masha.
Yeah, honestly, looking at the situation now, based on the reaction, I think Kyrie was able to steal that away. And again, Boots is making sure that it's always a 4v4. Cyclops, you stay here. You have the use on. Good for you, but you're not going to be able to use it now. Taz and Kyrie, they're both starting lower, but Cyclops goes in.
Is it going to be another time where Kyrie will be able to get a turtle? Yes, he will. onic only have got one thing in mind, and that is a turtle. Boots made himself all the way in front. He still has 3 health life bars. It's not going to be a problem. G-Boy immediately gets himself a rough waves, gets himself away. Hijumi as well as Dream S holds himself behind, understanding that Seikots as well as Taz is already dead.
Right now, I gotta say, man, looking at how that last turtle fight went through, it looked like Taz was there. He was alone. The thing is, for onic, they were not alone. We're gonna look at the replay. I kind of feel like Taz took too much free damage.
For sure. So what they wanted to do was to take the turtle because they know that the retribution was already used up by Kyrie. And the solution coming out from the side of Onic Esports is to just go to Taz. Gun him down before he's able to steal off that turtle. And because of that, they just ran through. They just steamrolled over.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if there were more bodies there, perhaps they could have done something to onic. But the thing is, everyone was so far away. Taz was basically 1v3 at that point.
And of course, the Astro Echo is just going to be taunting down, or rather hitting down the CW plus Kyrie. CW melts down Taz. Not much of a play that he could have made.
Dude, at this point, Taz probably wants to get back on Assassin, man, and Boots dominating his lane. Again, tell us again the story. How is Boots winning against Icons?
Well, it's literally just a matchup issue coming out from the Yuzhong versus the Mashup. Mashup 1v1 versus the Yuzhong just can't win. It will not be enough. There's so much life bars as well as so much damage that can come out from Boots, and he's got to a point where he can definitely one-shot marksman.
No! Boy! Great rough wave. Kyrie comes in as a connection, but unfortunately Hijumi manages to get himself away.
Okay, Hijumi almost died there. I'm pretty sure Keyboy has the Genius Wand. I'm not so sure if Hijumi has any kind of defense because we're going to look at the in-game equipment and no. I kind of feel like the only reason why Hijumi was able to survive was the HP on the Clock of Destiny.
Okay. And of course the Time's Journey being utilized there. That kind of saved him. Boots is strong enough to kind of force out some of the retribution already, which means the Lord will be super duper free for onic.
Dude, Boots is higher level than Taz, man.
There's a lot of beefy front lines from the side of onic, and it makes it even worse that evos just don't have a lot of ways that can actually deny onic of these neutral objectives. Not much ways to really push Fredrin away, not much of ways to just lock him down, no suppress whatsoever. The only thing that they have is just reverse time.
It's unfortunate because we were talking about the draft coming in from EVOS where it's a lot of potential, right? But you got to pick up the pace. You got to make sure that you have a very good start and you transition well. But so far, onyx the one that is having their foot on the gas.
I really just see this as more of like a snowball composition from EVOS, right? They want to win their lane and just shove the lanes as fast as possible and eventually meet up and to really win in team fight. But that doesn't seem to quite be the case.
Right now, looking at onic with a 9,000 gold lead. The Lord is marching up top. Boots is basically just there saying, yeah, you guys aren't going to go anywhere. Right now, EVOS, how are they going to defend?
onic doesn't seem like they will want to jump onto EVOS anytime soon just yet. They don't seem to want to extend the fight in order to keep the Lord alive. Keyboy barely making it alive after all of those pokes, but he's gonna be A-okay. onic continues their counter. They continue to push it down in the middle lane, but EVOS, they defended this pretty well.
That was super duper close to get a kill, finally to get a kill, but it wasn't enough. Keyboy was able to get out, and they do defend, so that's what's more important here for EVOS. That kill wouldn't matter if they had lost more, and they did defend. So they will live to see another day, but they were so behind now. What's that? 9K at 10 minutes.
Here's the thing. I got a question. Brands, Hijumi have not died. They haven't got a kill. They haven't got an assist, but they haven't died. Is it all doom and gloom? Can EVOS do anything to win this one?
What they need to do maybe, because they don't have like a massive like initiation, they don't have a win condition like a Franco or maybe a Minotaur. They will have to look for a mistake actually. Okay, well, no damage anyway.
Yeah, no damage.
damage
No
anyway.
damage.
I thought that there might be only one of the few ways is to just really get Hijumi as well as Brands to really work together to pull off the RSG/SG move, right?
Yeah.
Immediately burst down the back lines, bring CW down, that's the win con gone. So this really plays the part where onic gonna have to make that big of a mistake and evos capitalizing on that small little margin of error.
So, it's difficult to say against onic.
It did manage to flip CW though. His HP is all the way down to half, but it doesn't seem like the time journey would even be able to do quite much at this point in time. And
my
3
God.
immediately melted down to the hands of Boots. But CW takes the last hit after all. evos, they still have got 3 members left. They only want to defend the turret and not necessarily trying to get any more kills, despite the fact that onic, their HP were looking to be, well, not that high.
All right, here's the thing, man. Brands did quite a lot of damage just now. Half HP. CW was chunked quite a lot, but Kyrie was fast on his feet. It's like, yo, I see where you at now.
Yep.
You did good dealing the damage, but you just revealed your own positioning. He went in, and then everyone else just took care of the rest.
And everybody from the side of onic is 1 item ahead of their matchup. You can see the Fredrin with 8k versus almost just 5k for the Baxia. Also 1 big item ahead for the Marksman too.
I think the ideal was there, but not necessarily the right time and the right place for Brands.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
It's unfortunate, but here's the thing. You got to take a chance, right? No matter what kind of situation, you got to do something. Because if you're not, then you're just slowly giving the game away to your opponents. But now, 11,000 gold lead. The kill score isn't a lot. It's 0 and 6, but 11,000 gold, that's a lot.
At 12 minutes, that's too much.
Okay, so big question. evos is already in a really bad shape, right?
Yep.
And they're gonna have to play defensive. Do they do a gambit in order to turn things around?
The only gambit that they can do is to find the CW. That's the only, I would say, worthy gambit. Taking out Boots will not achieve anything. Taking out Keyboy will not achieve anything. Maybe Kyrie at a certain point, but Chaiwei is really the target here.
Conceal play. Unfortunately, that didn't really quite amount to much. The Lord marches down in the middle lane with his big trusty trident, while Boots is all the way in the bottom lane, clearing out every single one of the inhibitor turrets of evos. We are looking at a barren wasteland, and evos do not even try to touch onto onic. They're just holding themselves back and focusing onto every single one of the creep waves, and probably waiting for onic to make a mistake and try to jump over. They're waiting for the overextension, but the overextension doesn't seem to do quite much, because even though all of that Taz goes down, the rest of onic focuses on to the core.
Very clean game by onic coming into this game thinking we're gonna think with our heads. We're not gonna go for those unnecessary kills. They went in, came to do business and profit.
7-0 for onic, and in that last clash you saw how strong they are when it comes to their economy and when it comes to their focus on who they want to kill. Taz, as the Baxia, was put from 100% health to 0 in just a second. Just because of the fact that the carry was there, you have the attack speed already, and you also have the supplement of the time's journey. So there wasn't anyone to stop the damage of Chaiwei. That was amazingly amazingly executed by onic.
Honestly, this is one of those games where you could take the entire game from minute 1 up until the end and study how they move to play a perfect game. Because again, this is one of those things where kills don't matter that much. As long as you can push the opponents away from their objectives, eventually you'll just get everything that you want anyways.
Just the presence of Boots itself, or rather Boots himself, is enough to really just drive himself right into the face of Beatrix, and Beatrix will have no chance to get anywhere closer to the front lines. And onic knew that as long as they push the Beatrix away, they can crumble themselves and collapse themselves over to the back lines, because they're not going to be afraid of the Manet's Rage nor the Nibiru's Passion. And that is one of the prime ways they can melt down Taz in an instant.
Well, this is an amazing game, and welcome, Leo. How do you enjoy that game?
Masha's a beast. I think Masha really has a place in the metagame now. That's my key takeaway, especially in the last few seconds, given that with enough of mayhem, the Masha can just come in, and again, in the early to mid, it was take down heroes. Here it was just really just go ham on the base. Let's award our MVP for game 1. Throughout all the madness, of course, it's the one who comes out on top, Kyrie, with his Fredrin.
100% team fight participation, and Wolf, I just gotta say, Kyrie is amazing, but we gotta talk about the counterpart. I kind of feel like Taz always went in alone. Was that his fault or his team's fault?
I don't think it's his fault. It's just that it was onic that solved that problem. First, they have the time journey stolen away by the Valentina, so that kind of equalized the team fight. The next part is Kyrie won the first turtle fight, and I would attribute the win of onic to that single play. This particular one, you can see that there was already a good connection, but Sans popping the time journey in the right moment when it was already time for the retribution battle. When the threshold is there, the line was already set by the in-game assist, and they were able to get it. That alone gave the snowball potential to onic.
That I absolutely agree, right? When it comes down to Taz playing as a bouncer, you would want to get yourself the neutral objective in order to really keep yourself on the pace with Kyrie's Fredrin. But unfortunately, that didn't quite work. So the best thing that he can do to even provide any more value, to really just be present, be there to peel, to soak, and from that point onwards, hope that the rest of the team moves together with him.
If anything, I'd like to present a third option. It's not Taz's fault, it's not his team's fault.
I think I see it.
It's a misunderstanding of who has the tempo, of who's the aggressor. Because going into the draft, I think even Ripo said, evos should be winning this, especially if they're pushing the tempo. But it's onic who said, you know what, no. You think you want to go fast? We can go a little faster. And that's what allowed them... Exactly. A porcupine, right? Gotta go fast. Ding, 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 with all those rings. That's why they went 0-7 in 13 minutes.
Which is kind of thing. I kind of feel like Bara should be a Sonic hero. Get it? Because, you know... Anyways...
But they said they're porcupine.
I mean,
Here's the thing. Full analytical, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, looking back at the highlights, it was neither Taz's fault or Evos' fault. Yeah. It's Boots' fault. Boots, I keep seeing every single time the turtle has been taken, he was 1v3ing.
Yep.
He saw Dreams, he saw anyone that's there, he's just gunning for them.
Yep, let me piggyback off of that while also converging it with my argument earlier on that it was onic just getting the first turtle that won them the game. Another important factor that happened in there was Boots was so aggressive. He was staying into that Rock Ursa bush, right?
Yeah.
You know that bush, right? And he was taken down Psychots. The fact that he forced Psychots to pop the ultimate very earlier on meant that during the turtle fight, during the retry threshold, there wasn't any dragon form anymore. And once you go Dragonoid form as the Yu Zhong, you don't have any influence, especially when there's a stolen times journey. So I do agree with you, Boots was a big problem in this game.
I don't know, gentlemen, but personally for me, if I'm going to drop a vote, I might put Boots as the MVP, man. He's insane.
Boots is my personal second MVP. Like, I get why it's Kyrie, right? I get why it's Kyrie. He denied so much from Evos. And I think there was a moment before the match ended wherein you thought the conceal play did nothing. The conceal play did everything to push back Evos. And that even all the more forced them from being on their back foot to being on their bottoms.
So it really comes down to that invisible play from onic, right?
It's a free engage.
There's a lot of value just from zoning people out. It's very similar to how the fact that Boots just rushed straight in the face of Brands, pushing backwards, even though he didn't kill Brands, nor did he deal any damage. It's all about positioning factors.
Yeah, you know, Kyrie did a wonderful play, by the way, the first turtle as well. Apart from securing the retribution, was able to pop his ultimate so that he's gonna be able to